We start the stream.
We're live.
We're live. Yep. We're here to do something different. I mean, not different, but this is another true stream. Today is the opportunity. We're here to talk about Chivas.
Hey, boss!
Chivas de Guadalajara, also known as Chivas de Guadalajara or CD Guadalajara, Liga MX, football club, soccer club, football club. You know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
basically, I'm going to land the minerals and I'm going to explain who Chivas are. Chivas are basically a team, from Liga. They're from Mexico, from the city of Guadalajara, Liga MX side. They are the biggest. They are they are one of the biggest clubs. But here's the thing: we're going to make the dark truth about them. And
Yeah.
there's lots of reasons, many reasons why. From my point, from Dax's point, and generally. If you don't know,
Uh-huh.
like I said, Chivas, they're based in Guadalajara. But here's the
Mm-hmm.
thing: their biggest, they have won so much things. Fair enough, and Chivas have lots of titles, especially Gameki's trophies. They have 12 of them. Fair enough. Even though they did scrap the Campeonato many times. But here's the thing, and they did won two Champions Cup, no Leagues Cup, no a couple Copa MX, which is a tournament that no longer exists for some reason. I have no idea if they're bringing back the Mexican Cup, which they should, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I will make adjustments about Liga MX myself eventually. But still, about Chivas, they're basically they wear in red and white, right?
Yep.
They wear in red and white. But here's the thing, yeah, red and white, and they have a logo. Obviously, we all know Chivas themselves. The circle, the city they'll add in with the logo, with the lions, the trees, and all that for the city of Guadalajara. But here's the thing: they're not even located. I mean, yeah, they are. It's just that Popan is small, it's right next to it. But here's the thing: their biggest rivals are Atlas and Club America. And the problem is, since they're biggest rivals with Atlas, we are friends with Atlas, you know Atlas himself, the
Uh,
creator, YouTube. He supports that club, and we're friends with him, and which means that you know what? Since we're friends with Atlas, and we all know their biggest rivals are Chivas, we have to go against them because we're supporting our Atlas, right?
yeah.
And then what? And quick question, and if people was asking, when did you met Atlas? Generally,
I met Atlas somewhere around 2022 or 2023.
2022, 20. All right then. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
ever since then, I think he might have told you about this, but I think he kind of forgot or
Yeah.
something. Maybe he did told you, warning you about the Chivas. And I already knew myself ever since I started to come back to watching football in 2022 after the World Cup. I just noticed Chivas and Atlas, they were rivals based in the same city of Guadalajara, so they are rivals in the same city. But not only
Mm-hmm.
that, but here's the thing about Chivas. Since they are enemies with Atlas, we have to go against these bums. And you know what?
Yeah.
At
Huh?
this point, you know what's stupid about Chivas?
Yeah.
The club is they used to be Chivas. I will say this: Chivas used to be a proper. They used to be a good club. They used to be a proper club. But nowadays, they are nothing but a dog clown clown like circus show of drama, ridiculous, and bullshitism,
Uh-huh.
and liars, and retards.
Exactly.
And I'm talking because that's what they are at this point. They are a circus. Chivas, they are a circus, bro. They Chivas used to be good, but not anymore. Not anymore.
Yep. Not anymore.
And this season, they can't even make it to the playoffs or play in, even the play in, to even get to the quarterfinals. And if you don't know, like I said in Liga MX, well, obviously there's two seasons of Clausura and Apertura. We're right now in the Clausura. Even though it's postseason, regular season, they ended the regular season with just 17 points. And you know what? I will add my screen in a bit, but But Chivas, I'm going to explain the rest. But Chivas, they are they're absolute dickheads, honestly.
I agree.
And Chivas, they used to be a promoter club, but I think their downfall might have started since 2018 or 2019, slowly. And I didn't notice that until 2023, obviously. And now these bums cannot even win a trophy, and they can't even qualify. They cannot even qualify. They
Yeah.
can't qualify to even participate. Chivas last year. All right, I will tell you this: Chivas back in 2023, they almost won a championship. They almost won the Liga MX trophy, the Clausura version. 2 years ago, they almost won it. They almost won it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And guess what? All right, so basically, you want to know something? So
Huh?
Chivas and these all right, they almost won the 2023 Clausura, but they can't even win that because you want to know why? They fumbled it against Tigres. They were 2-0 up and they fumbled it with 2 goals in regular time. And then in extra time they lost. They capitulated at the end slowly. They can't even win that. And ever since that day, those Chivas thought the curse was over. Because you want to know when was the last time they won a championship, Dax?
Yeah.
The last time they won it was 2017. I think
Wow.
I think it was May. Yeah, Clausura 2017. That was the last time.
Oh, what's up?
Oh wait, who's there? Big up, yes,
Yeah, big up.
we're calling out the Chivas. But the last time these bums won it was in 2017. Which fair enough. Back in 2017, I will say this, even though there were some questionable subs back then, but guess what? They were actually pretty good. They actually made sense. They actually had a top manager by the name of Almada. They actually had good players. They were doing the right thing. And Chivas, they did have the hearts of the people. And then fair enough, they did build a big club like, Manchester United. It's Mexico's version of Manchester United, kind of. Even though they're not even the biggest right now because they're no longer the biggest. But it's similar to Manchester United based off history and all that. The only difference is Chivas does play only with Mexicans, and United plays with everyone from any background or any country. But that's the only difference. And they're located in Guadalajara, and the other one's Manchester. Even though Guadalajara and Manchester are similar to each other, probably anyway. So there's a lot of similarities to Chivas and United. But here's the thing about Chivas. That was the last time they won in 2017. The following year, they did win the CONCACAF Champions Cup on penalty kicks against Toronto, which I was 12 years old. They won it, and they believed it. People believed it. And I think that was the last time they won a trophy. I don't think they won anything else. I don't think they
Yeah.
won anything else since then.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was the last time Chivas. That was the last time Chivas actually did something. Let me see when was the last time these bums absolute won. Yep, lots of things to unveil. And then let me know if someone wants to join to talk about the Chivas, these cheaters. Yeah, let me know. Chivas back then, they were competitor. They were competitive. They did participate in few other tournaments, like we used to have the Copa Libertadores, obviously, before CONCACAF and CONMEBOL wanted to divide the continent, obviously. And but here's the thing, I know no Liga MX side have never won a Libertadores, but they were competing. Chivas were one of them. They actually were trying. So back then, you can't blame Chivas because they were actually trying to do the right thing back then. They were actually trying to compete of being a serious club, and I like that. I like that too. But ever since, yes, you could say Chivas are run by bad ownership. Fair enough. If it's true, then yeah, you need to get these owners out. But here's the thing about Chivas: you need
Yeah.
to. Some of their fans, they're absolute ridiculous. They want to fight with Atlas fans, and that's one of those problems. Absolute scumbags. And their fans are freaking delusional. Basically Chivas fans, it's a mix of United and Arsenal combined. I would say Chivas is a mix of Manchester United and Arsenal because of the fan base, but also the history. Chivas, fine, they only won the Mexican Cup twice. They used to have a Super Cup event, and they only won it once. They've only won it once. So basically, Chivas, for them, is a big club, but to be fair, Chivas, they haven't won a lot of trophies. Okay, maybe they used to have old trophies that no longer exist, but if you're talking about current competitions, they've only won it a few times. They've only won, two CONCACAF Champions Cup to their name, participated in Club World Cup twice, I think, or the Intercontinental Club Cup since they rebranded that to Club World Cup of 32 teams versus to just once every year. The 32 teams is every 4 years, which this year's Club World Cup is happening, which I'll make a stream about it. But Chivas, they did participate. About that, yeah, they did try to beat Internacional. They did give them a good game, but they lost 5-3 on aggregate. I think they were competitive. Fair enough. They only have international titles, which is the Champions Cup, even though it was called Champions League, but Champions Cup. And yeah, Chivas, these bums, yes, they've won 12 Liga MX titles since 1943. And the last time they won it was 2017. And now it's 2025. 8 years later, they are a shit mess. They are.
Yeah. Ever since like 2019 or something.
Yeah, basically. I think that's where the downfall. People want to blame Amari. Fair enough. He's not doing a good job. But here's the thing. Some of their fans need to be humbled for the way they're talking smack as well anyways. And Chivas, they're so yes. They know that they're getting overtaken by Club America, right? They know Club America is bigger than them now because Club America has surpassed Chivas. I would say Club America has overtaken Chivas since 2019, I think. Okay. And I know Club America, listen, they just won 3 straight championships. The one in December, the Apertura 2024, the Clausura back in May of last year, late May against Cruz Azul, and then the 3-0 win against Tigres last year. No, back in December 2023's Apertura. So they won 3 straight campeonato, which Chivas, I don't know if they won 3 straight campeonato during those years. But yeah, Club America, it's bigger. They're bigger than you. It's over. Plus, they have 7 Champions Cup. And the Champions Cup is basically our version of Champions League. Mind by you, I even think Chivas, not only they're not even acting the top 10 club, I don't even know if I should view them as even the second biggest club in Mexico. I think Pachuca and Cruz Azul might be bigger than them. I'm not kidding, because they have more Champions Cup titles. Hold on, let me see. Let me try Champions Cup. Let me try add my screen. Hold on, let me try set this up. And I know MLS they're trying to get one. Hold on, let me try to get the latest version. But yeah, these bums, Chivas, the last time they won it was 2018. The first time they won it, the Champions Cup, was all the way back in 1963. So maybe Chivas did have a small dynasty, or I don't know if it is a dynasty, but it feels like a dynasty. Yeah. And it should have been done by then. But yeah, I think the first time they won it was 1963. All right, let me try add my screen. Try
Mhm.
Let me try find this real quick, and because oh my goodness, bro. Yep, I still have a lot to say about these bums. All right, these are the winners that won in. Hold on. All right, let me see. Let me try finding. All right, you know what? I guess this is the right one. This is by Reddit. Basically, basically, all right. Let me add my screen. If you could see it,
All right.
without any problem, you see my screen. All right, there we go. So as you guys could see, this is Reddit. Let me try to pull this up. Ah, dang it. Dang it, I might have to put. Dang it. Hold on, let me try to re-add it real quick. So connect it to Reddit. And it's big up to this person, basically. But yeah, the clubs with the most CONCACAF Champions Cup titles as of 2025. Even though I will say this real quick, this is as of 2025. Know that? Even though let's all right, there we go. Hold on, you see my screen?
All right.
Yeah, there you go. All right, there we go. That was acting up. I should have. But yeah, all right. So, all right, come on, should I do this? All right, so these are the trophies that won. I mean, here are the clubs that won the most CONCACAF Champions Cup trophies, basically. And you know what? First of all, I mean, yes, they have. Yes, we have another Champions Cup event, which is Cruz Azul Vancouver, and it depends who's. It depends what happens, and oh my god.
Mhm.
And you know what? Shut up, Telemundo. I'm gonna get to you in just a sec. Like, shut up, Telemundo. We're gonna get to you in a bit. So, okay. So, listen, guys. Listen. Club America has the most titles. They have 7 trophies as of now. Pachuca and Cruz Azul have 6. Monterrey have 5. Pumas and I think that's Sparcarini from Costa Rica. I think that's pronounced. Gas Sparcarini. They got 3 each. And Chivas, along with these clubs, Toluca and Alajuelense, Atalanta from Mexico, who's now in the second division. Atletico something. I think this club is from the Caribbean. I'm assuming these 2 clubs. They won 2. And you know what? At this point, Chivas only have 2? How could you be a bigger club? How could you be the second? At this point, you should have no right calling yourself the biggest club in Mexico. You don't. You only have
Yeah.
2. This is embarrassing. Not only your big,
Exactly.
not only yes, sure, Atlas does not have a Champions Cup, but your biggest rivals, Club America, have 7. You have just 2.
Yeah.
And by the way, quick reminder: if Cruz Azul wins the Champions Cup on June the 1st, Sunday, right? If they win that, they're gonna be tied with Club America with 7. Honestly, at this point, even Club America fans will not take Chivas seriously at this point. They probably won't. And no offense to, but it's just true at this point. Chivas, you only have 2 Champions Cup of your standards. You're not a big club. You're not much of a big club. You're not. You're just basically doing like the Arsenal Tottenham to be, the fake wannabe United.
Mhm.
Because if you only have 2 Champions Cup, and the Champions Cup is basically our version of the UEFA Champions League, but CONCACAF, you should have no right calling yourself big at this point. Look at this. You only have 2. You're just as big as San Valencia. then Monterrey should have more followers. And the reason why Chivas has more followers than these bums, I think it's mostly because of manipulation and propagandized. Because if you look at the trophy cabinet, okay, maybe originally Chivas might have been the oldest big one. Fair enough, but right now, as in the 2000s, you're not a big club, and that's facts. You're not a big club,
Yeah.
and that's facts. You're not you're not a big club. You are not a big club then, because you just lied,
Exactly.
and that's facts. You're not a big club. Look at this. You only have two.
No,
Then
right?
just then stop freaking talking about Chivas as this big club. Like you're not. Look at this. If Monterrey is bigger than you, then you know what? They should have more followers than you. Then you don't deserve it. And I know Tigres just has one, but fair enough. They won it in 2020, I think. 2021 during the pandemic. 2020. But yeah, with the code lockdowns and all that. Even the LA Galaxy, which honestly, the LA Galaxy, the difference, the LA Galaxy, they've won it once. Fair enough. Even though the LA Galaxy is supposed to be, the biggest, MLS club in history, basically. Basically, LA Galaxy, unfortunately, they're I'm not saying they're somewhat to Chivas because they just like Chivas, they used to have a big history, but now LA Galaxy, they're not good. Even though the LA Galaxy don't have a stupid fan base like Chivas, in my opinion. I mean, unless you're an LAFC fan, which was part of. You want to know something about LAFC? LA Galaxy's
Yeah.
rivals. They were partner. They had a Chivas USA partnership for a bit before that was dissolved.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, they did, which I think that was ridiculous. I mean, maybe they were running it right before the cracks started to show. So fair enough. LAFC, you don't even have a Champions Cup, and I know LA Galaxy are not doing good, and they are doing it the wrong way, but they're not. But they're not. They're just not stupid. I know that they haven't won an MLS game, which is crazy, but they're not Chivas and ridiculous right now, in my opinion. Like absolutely club that I actually despise. Because fair enough, LA Galaxy they did win an MLS Cup and they still won it. So I know they need to fix up in the summer, but still. But Chivas they're doing absolutely ridiculous. All right, so I'll share my screen. Or before that, how the fuck could you be called a big club?
Exactly.
Like what? Like it's just basically okay. Fine, you have two Champions Cup. You might have won the first one almost back in 1963. You're not winning it. I don't see Chivas winning it anytime soon, especially the project they're going on.
Yeah.
And it's not saying that Chivas should sign worldwide players or else non-Mexican players, but here's the thing: they're not being run properly. That's the thing.
And
Chivas are,
plus,
yeah.
you're weak.
Yes, you are weak. Oh, for sure. Look at where you guys finished this season. Let me try honestly, or let me try to do this. Chivas are so freaking weak. Like I know there's a beer named Chivas, but that's not related. Guadalajara, but these bums are weak, bro. Like they're not serious. They're not serious. Like you're just getting dunked by, and I'm also gonna talk about Chicharito. Don't worry, we will get there. And then you probably have, and if anyone is asking, are you Mexican descent? Did you have to deal with any Chivas family members? Um, I think once, but I don't know if he does support Chivas. Because honestly, like, what's the point of them? Look at this. All right. What I will show you this. What I will say as well. Look at where they finished. Oh no.
Exactly.
Hold on. Look at this. They finished 11th. That's the worst position of 21 points. They they were trash, bro. Chivas were shit. And plus, I'm gonna get to you about Telemundo in just a sec. This is why I don't take Chivas seriously. I don't. I don't take them seriously.
Mm-hmm.
This this is why I do not take them seriously. Look at this. You guys finished 11th in Clausura. You guys were awful. Even 1 point ahead of Querétaro. It's embarrassing. Querétaro, they haven't improved anything. They've always improved. Santos, that's the worst Santos side ever. That's crazy. But yeah, I know you could say the quality of Liga MX has dropped off, or barely the quality of football has dropped off this season generally across the world, whether it's in Europe or MLS, Liga MX, whatever. And it has, unfortunately. But but still, it's not
Um,
sustainable. And you know what? Yes, Atlas they finished 14th. They couldn't get the job done, but I do not blame them. But as for your standards, of course you gotta be in the play-in. But honestly, you guys don't deserve to be for the way that you talk smack and all that, especially your fan base and all that matter and like you deserve to be out. And the reason why Pumas barely qualified, I
uh-huh.
know Pumas lost 2-1 to Tigres, right? They lost to this side 2-1 to Tigres, right? Or Tigers. Tigres Universitario of Monterrey, right? Or Leon, right? They lost 2-1, right? They needed a penalty kick. They did not score from open play, but let Tigres score two from open play. But here's the thing: the goal difference were the same, right? They were, but since Pumas, look -3 because both of them were awful. But since Pumas somehow scored more goals than Chivas by 5, that's how they qualified. And Chivas dropped points against Atlas. They drew 1-1. Chivas were winning 1-0. I think it was an open play or an own goal touch from I forgot from the Atlas player. But guess what? Atlas equalized. And then nothing else happened. It remained 1-1 this whole time. And ever since you guys got eliminated, we all know it was over. We all know it's over. It's over. These bums thought they could rely on Tigres, who absolutely beat you in the Champions Cup final. I know they got their slightly own problems, which I will make a video about Liga MX eventually. But yeah, from my own channel. So yeah, but yeah, that's where they finished 11th. Absolute bums. And then they're not gonna participate this time. They're not gonna participate. Yes, I know Leagues Cup has a new format. They're gonna host some Leagues Cup games. You know, the one in August, which by the way, July and August. By the way, I think that tournament. What's the point of it? I don't take Leagues
Wait,
Cups.
do you want to
Yeah,
reschedule my May 3rd stream since I woke up late?
yeah. I guess since we're gonna be here for a while, I guess maybe 10:05. Yeah,
Alright.
10:05. And then you can also let me know if someone wants to join the ones that want to talk about Chivas.
If they want
But yeah,
to.
yeah, if they want to. But I will show this to X. Here's the thing: they do host Leagues Cup games at home. Even on Leagues Cup, I don't take that tournament seriously. What's the point? I don't care if you're rebranded. They have Red Bulls, Charlotte, Cincinnati. Yeah, they're both at home, but they got to visit Cincinnati on August 7th, which, by the way, they smacked you guys 3-1. And by the way, big up to Cincinnati. They're doing pretty well. They're actually on top of the MLS table, the Eastern Conference. I don't know if they are on top of the Supporters Shield because of Vancouver doing well on the Western Coast, who wants to fight the Champions Cup of Cruz Azul, which I'll make a video about it. Because and it doesn't mean I'm going off topic, but it connects. But yeah, look at this. These bums drew 1-1 with Atlas. They beat Puebla, a shitty Puebla 1-0. And then they drew with Mazatlán 1-1, which is a fair result. Honestly, and then you got some of these Chivas hermanos crying about the referee was against us. He sent his unfair. I'm like, shut up. Mazatlán was robbed of a penalty in the first 5 minutes. And that one was not given? Shut your mouth. I don't care if you had 6 shots on target. I know Alan Polito hit the post. But Chivas, you deserve to lose. Mazatlán should have won this game. I don't care. Those absolute scumbags. They lose 3-1 to Monterrey, with fair enough. Monterrey haven't even been that good either. You lose to Cruz Azul 1-0, which Cruz Azul deserves to win. And you know what? I'm also going to cook Telemundo in a bit. They drew 1-1 with Bravo Juarez, which I think they should have held on, in my opinion. They should have gotten a second goal, in my opinion. They should have won this game. And let's not forget, we got another ass whooping by Papa Club America, the father of Chivas. Absolute ass whooping. Yes, 4-0 like in 2023. Absolute destroyed, fumbled, no shots on target. Not even that close. Club America 6. It should have been 5-0 probably at minimum. But fair result.
And Chivas 0, right?
Yeah, wait, what?
Like, Chivas got the 0 because they're stupid.
Yep, they're stupid, not good enough. You're not serious. I know Club America got knocked out by Cruz Azul. Honestly, in my opinion, Club America's biggest rival shouldn't even be with Chivas. It should be Cruz Azul. That's the real rivalry. Chivas is just the freaking mediocre. It's like saying Liverpool's real rival is supposed to be Man City, since Man United are trash. Because they are. That's facts. On that. And listen, Chivas, they got 2 red cards in these games. They scumbag the reason why they won this game, it was an own goal. You didn't even score from open play. You scumbag. And by the way, you would get eliminated. So this win didn't matter at the end. This win would only matter that you have a 1-goal lead, but we all knew you were going to get smashed. We all know you were going to lose.
Yeah.
This Classico. We all know. Everyone knew they were going to laugh at you. These bums, they won San Luis. Absolutely ridiculous, but they scumbag the win against Pumas. They did not deserve to win that game. That goal should have been like, why didn't Pumas win that game? It should have been 1-0 to Pumas. Like, Chivas, shut up. You didn't deserve that result. Like, shut up. And then let's not forget Chivas. I doubt they robbed Pachuca, even though Pachuca always lose to them. And then they gave them Julito the goal. And Chivas, they scumbag the result. They didn't deserve to win. One of them should have been a draw, and another one should have been a loss. They definitely deserve to lose this game, even though they played well against Toluca. And the reason why it was an own goal, which I think it was from open play, just came off the hand, even though it was a handball. If that didn't went in, that's a penalty. But since Diego just says it's in anyways, it's a goal. So it doesn't matter. If it didn't went in, then that's a pen. But since it did, then yes, goal. They deserve. And then to look at 8 shots on target, even though Chivas look scary on the ball for a bit. But yeah, they deserve to lose, and then they're crying about an offside, even though you did the same thing against Cholos. They won 3-0 in the first round, but it's against a Caribbean island. Oh, it's against the Dominican Republic side, so it won't matter. Look, they drew 1-1 Querétaro. They lost 2-1 to Leon, and they drew 1-1 with Tigres. They lost 3-2 to Necaxa, and then let's see their first game. Yes, that's just preseason shit. That's against a 3rd, 4th division team. Well, look, Chivas, they barely scumbag the win against against Santos, which in my opinion, well, even if Santos was robbed or not, Santos are just the only team that is worse. And Chivas barely won that game. Their most convincing win of all of them this Clausura was the most convincing performance, which I don't count the 0-0 draw against Club America, even though Club America didn't play that well. In my opinion, their best result, I would say, maybe could be the 2-1 win against Pachuca, 1-0 win against Pumas, even though they didn't deserve it. So these scumbags, they've been scumbagging wins. They've been 1-1 draw, and yeah, and not including that one because this one's Academy. All right, look, this was the last time. The last time Chivas qualified, this is the Apertura version. Not including that was a friendly they added on, even though I think that friendly was just for money. All right, let's go back to the 2020 for Apertura, right? All right, so it all started with this. They drew 0-0 with Toluca. That was Chivas' debut with those white annoying kids. They had 4 shots on target to 2. It ended 0-0. That was the same time when Brazil and Uruguay went to penalty kicks back in 2024. And we're going to check on the results as well, the Clausura and the one 2 years ago. Yeah. And then they got smashed up by Cholos of Tijuana 4-2. Yeah, 4-2. They absolutely got owned by Cholos 4-2. Like before the Euros and Copa America final, after the Copa America Euros final, which Argentina, Spain won it obviously against Colombia, England. They did beat Querétaro 2-0. In my opinion, this was a robbery. You remember? Hey Dax.
Huh?
You remember they added on so much minutes, and then it was the 96th, and they added on 6, and they kept going until Chivas scored the second goal. That's where they cheated. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
The first time I told you?
Yeah.
Yeah, July 16th. That was the day. Absolutely ridiculous. That goal shouldn't have sent. And you know what? Chivas?
Huh?
And you know what? Chivas don't deserve to even be. Don't even deserve to, be even fair enough. 1-0, fair enough. They deserve because Querétaro were not good enough. But 2-0, that goal shouldn't have stand.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't have stand.
Exactly.
You remember that moment, right?
Uh-huh.
So joke. And by the way, Telemundo, shut the fuck up. As we're speaking, Arsenal plays Bournemouth, and they're broadcasting the game, even though they wasted licenses on those 2 games today. Shut the hell up. I'm gonna get to you in just a sec, especially on your rights about Chivas.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is another result. All right, let's try to go back to more matches. And then there was some results that happened in the Apertura and Clausura. We're going to try to go back as far as the Clausura 2023. Okay. But still no. But still, I will say this, hold on, hey, Dak.
Huh?
Hold on, what video are you playing?
Oh, so I was just watching something.
Okay. Hopefully it doesn't get too off topic. But I will say this, and then Chivas, they beat 2-0 Mazatlan. Ridiculous. They got away with this win. Fair play. But it doesn't matter because guess what? You want to know something?
Hmm?
This is the game. This is the game that I went. Remember back on July 27th, the week that they
Oh
beat
yeah.
Massacre. Guess what? I went to the Chivas San Jose game. Yes, at Levi Stadium, and I absolutely trolled the shit out of them. Like, okay, maybe not troll the shit out of them, but I pretended to be a neutral, but I knew San Jose was winning. I was so happy that Jeremy Osbola scored that goal in the first 5 minutes. But you want to know what's stupid? Those Chiva Hermanos, they were booing. They were absolutely being clowns and just dressed up like absolutely ridiculous. They used to have a nice and fair fan base. And they did have 6 shots on target, 2 shots on target. And these bums, they added on 8 minutes. By the
Yeah.
way, Dax, they added on 8 minutes. And then once they scored, I knew they were trying to rig the game. And guess what? This went to penalties, and they lost. I made a video about that, which I will share a link in just a sec.
All right.
Yeah, I made a video about these bums.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I made the Chivas San Jose, San Jose Earthquakes, which is my local team. You know,
Uh-huh.
all right, let me try to send it to you. All right, this is the video, guys. Can you highlight that real quick? This is
Okay.
the video that I'm talking about. Yes. If you want to watch that, there you go. And then you can watch it after stream or whenever you have time. But yeah, this is the video because that's the video that you know that's the game that absolute rocked these. And then Chivas, they drew 1-1 with San Jose, and then San Jose, yes, they did lost to LA Galaxy in that Clasico in the Leagues Cup a few days after 2-1 in the actual scoreline. But even K Cowell missing the pen, like he's like Mr. Whoopi or something, it was pretty hilarious. And Chivas, they thought they would escape. Ah, frick, come on. And let me see what else. The 24 moments. And then guess what?
Huh?
This is a game they played pretty well. They went against LA Galaxy, who are undefeated at home. This time they tied the game 2-2. Alan Mosso scored, but guess what? 2 minutes later, the Galaxy would have equalized. And Jerry Peck, and then this absolute bump, K. Cowell scored against LA Galaxy and showed up. For fuck's sakes. But guess what? It doesn't matter. LA Galaxy won the penalty shootouts, which means Chivas were out.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I cannot play the videos because of copyright. But there are plenty of videos, especially Chivas against LA Galaxy, including, during the Olympics bullshit. Fuck the Olympics, by the way, overrated. But yeah, I remember that when Chivas were out. Out! Out! Getting cooked. Even though they did play well, I'm not going to lie. Fine, credit, fair play until you bums didn't even got through at the end of the day. And that was when Fernando Gago was there before he went to Boca Juniors, who's now getting sacked after losing and getting exposed by River Plate in that Argentine Clasico. But that was the manager from there. And I saw him on the touchline. It's like crazy. Like, is he really? Nah. But yeah, Chivas. That was the big game. But Chivas, like, you're not even going to attract anything.
Yeah, you're not. It's just stupid.
And then let's check the other results. 1-1. They did got a 1-1. Hold on. This is not the one. This is the one in August. They got 1-1 draw against Tigers. Lucky you, especially Gignac missing the pen. Should have been 2-1 Tigers. Tigers should have won this game. And they absolutely fucking smashed, destroyed, and swore the Juarez 5-0. And they did send somebody off. And honestly, do I think this is a robbery? Somewhat, yeah, even though it should have been 3-0. Because honestly, Juarez made they were unlucky by the refs. you never know. Chivas getting those favorable calls, but remember, guys, Club America bad, Atlas bad, like all this PR shit. And then they lose 1-0 to Club America, and Club America were doing so bad. They lose 1-0 to America. They played a worse match. They beat Club Leon, which they didn't even score from open play. That was a robbery, from what I heard. They lose 1-0 to Cruz Azul again, back in the same stadium. But yeah, they lose 1-0 to Cruz Azul. They got one more draw against Monterrey. They lost 3-2 to Atlas in the derby in the league, which they almost came back, if you remember. They went at the 40th minute, they were 1-0 down. The second half, 45th. Right away, they scored their second goal. And they scored the third goal in like 4 minutes later. And then Chivas got one back at the 63rd, and 10 minutes later, they got another one back, and it stayed 3-2. Atlas won still. But you know what's stupid, Dax?
Yeah.
They beat Pachuca again 2-0. Like, for fuck's sakes. And they beat Necaxa 3-2. Absolute bums. Trying to come back, and then they lose 1-0 to Puebla. Finally. They got a 0-0 draw against Pumas. Honestly, they should have lost that game because Pumas were trying to get momentum. Chivas were the better side, but they couldn't do it. These scumbags. They beat Santos Lagunas 2-0, obviously, even though Santos were finished anyways. And then guess what? They lose to San Luis 1-0. And since they missed off they did qualify for the play-in, but they couldn't qualify straight to the quarterfinals. And then this is the game that ended their season. We gotta wait till on your birthday. It was guess what? But it was a special birthday. You want to know why? Not only you got gifts, guess who got eliminated? These clowns. Ha ha ha. By Atlas. And you could say they didn't score from open play. Well, it looks like a mixed touch of it. But in my opinion, this is why honestly, in my opinion, Chivas deserves to lose. They got a pen, and if it wasn't for that penalty kick for Atlas, if he didn't score that, if he missed it or the penalty wasn't given, this could have gone to penalty kicks itself to determine who was going to face, because Chivas, they would either face the loser of Club America or Cholos on pens. But guess what? The penalty was given. America Cholos, they went on pens and America won. They won too. They won I think 3-4 in that game. That was on the same day on your birthday. And they can hold that, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your response?
Like, I know, right? Like, gosh.
Like, hold that, Chiva Hermanos, honestly. And then we're gonna dive into 2024. Some of their embarrassing. We're gonna check 2024, the first half of 2024, and then 2023 as well as a whole. All right, let's go all the way. All right, there you go. All right, these scumbags. All right, let's go all the way back to 2024 when I was busy with school. They started off with the same result against Santos Laguna, but except they drew 1-1. Santos was better back then, and Chivas, they were getting started with Fernando Gago, and now basically their seasons are just getting shorter and longer, and their vacations are getting longer because they had that 1 month period, which I'll get into it. They drew 1-1 with Santos. They lose to Tigres 1-0. They drew 1-1 with Cholos, and then they beat Toluca 3-2. They beat San Luis 2-0, even though they didn't even score from open play, so it might have been a robbery then. What's a fucking... Forge, they beat them 3-1, even though it's a Canadian side. They barely beat Bravos 2-1. They beat Forge 2-1 again, 5-2 aggregate. They drew Mazatlan 2-2. And Mazatlan did deserve to win that game. Chivas didn't deserve to win. They deserve to lose, in my opinion. A draw may be fair, but yeah, they didn't deserve to win. The Gaxa beat them 1-0, just like how they beat them 3-2. Bye
Mm.
bye. Yep, my response. Bye bye.
Yep. Bye
And then
bye.
they beat Pumas 3-1, but they got absolute smashed, humbled by Cruz Azul 3-0. And then they lose to Club America because just like last year, they had the three Clásicos. But this time it was same thing, round of 16 and the league. They lose to Club they lose to Club America 3-0. They lose to Club Leon. Yeah, they did beat Club America away, and that was the last time they beat them from open play. From last year they did score three, but Club America got the job done, so they accept losing by a goal or two.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't matter unless you did score the four. America could have come back and won 3-2 instead of losing 3-2. And then Chivas almost thought they thought they would make a comeback at the Azteca and went 2-0 up, but until America came back with those two goals. And they drew 0-0 in the Clásico. This is just a ridiculous friendly. They probably robbed Monterrey, probably. They robbed Monterrey. But this time justice because they lost 3-1 rather than winning 2-0. They scumbag the win against Puebla, barely holding on. They almost bottled this game. They beat Pachuca 1-0, which I don't think they even scored from open play. And Pachuca still couldn't get the freaking goal. They thought 2-0, fair enough. But this result annoys me because you want to know something? Chivas won the derby.
No. Right.
Shut the fuck up. Fucking Colorado. 75th, 77th minute. Fuck off. Fuck off. And then they played Toluca in the quarterfinals. They beat them 1-0. And Toluca should have held on for a 0-0 draw. And then guess what? This game ended 0-0. Chivas advanced 1-0. Toluca just needed one goal to advance. But you know, in my opinion, Toluca might have been robbed with Vega's goal being called off, which I think that was a robbery. So they robbed Toluca. And they send them a red card for protesting. This is a robbery, in my opinion. All about the money, so Club America and Chivas can get to, the quarterfinals. Even down 10 men, they actually played even better. Fuck's sake. But yeah, stupid Chivas, bro. These scumbags. These days, they're all about clones at this point. We're gonna check their results. Let me complete 2024. Yeah, these scumbags. But guess what? It won't matter. I know Club America are not doing that good, and they were just trying to scumbag results. But this was a goal that eliminated them. The 60th minute goal by Israel Reyes absolutely eliminates Chivas, and that ended Telemundo as well.
Yep.
And let's check
They're
the
down.
results from. Let's check some results from 2023 where they absolutely got embarrassed. They scumbag the win against a poor Cruz Azul side who are better right now. They got battered, destroyed by Tigres 4-0. They did. They lost 4-0 to Tigres. That's the funny story, Dax.
Yeah.
But they sadly battered Atlas 4-1. Shut the fuck up.
All right.
They drew 1-1 to Luca. They should have lost. They got scumbag. They got shook by Mazatlán and Pachuca 3-1 0-0. This is the battering Dax. This is the one that I love. 4-0. Yes, 4. That's when Club America slapped them 4-0 at the last time. Hold that.
Yeah, hold that.
All those tactics, I know Banovic was still there, but that made sense. These scumbags thought they would get away. They thought that these bums would absolutely get away with it. No. They lose 2-1 Santos. They drew 1-1 with Bravos, just like the Even though that was a pen. And look at this. You want to know something? They lost to the League's Cup. They lost to Cincinnati 3-1, and they lost to Sporting Kansas City a few days later. And then they took a break for 18 days. And Chivas come back the 1-0 win against Cholos. Yep, they did. This is just a friendly. Nothing serious. But yeah, these bums, these scumbags were scumbagging results. Scumbagging, they got 3 straight victories until Cincinnati battered them. And Bravos finally took away their points. Finally. And it took Santos Laguna to give them their first loss. Monterrey in their downfall. And I don't care, like Chivas, like fuck off. Yep, Rapper Topic says anti-Chivas facts. And then, all right, you know what? Yeah, this is where they capitulated, Dax. This is where they capitulated. No, they lost 3-2 at home. They can't even win that. Ha ha. Yes, this was the last time they lost. This is when was the last time they did the ridiculous. It was literally against these. Literally, thought they would have won. Then they were 20 minutes away from winning. Then, or 15 minutes before the equalizer, and they can't even win it. They can't even win the La Terza. They can't win the 13th trophy. They can't. And they haven't won. In America, they were so close to equalizing, 20 minutes away. And yet, now as of 2025, they're 4 trophies ahead of you now. And who knows? If they want to do a 4 campeonato, they could. If they want to, yeah. They could win, listen, they could win 4 trophies. They could. They could. They could win 4 trophies. They could. They could be 5 trophies ahead of you, I meant to say. Honestly, Chivas, they're just an embarrassment. Like absolute ridiculous on away goals, or not on away goals, but higher standards. Ridiculous. And Chivas finally had a great Glasura 2023 Paunovic. Scumbags, including the 3-3 thriller, but they got smacked by America in regular season. Scumbag the 2-1 win against Tigres. Beating Cholos 2-1.
Yeah.
Toluca beat Chivas 2-1. They beat Monterrey 1-0, even though Monterrey had a rough start. Like, yeah, that was the beginning. But yeah, these were all the results. And Vegas there. This, like, some of these guys are not even here. And honestly, I just don't care about the squad depth. Honestly, Chivas, since they want to be clowns, what's the point of taking them seriously? And by the way, facts. Yeah. Let's not forget, in 5 days, it's going to be their 119th anniversary. I think that will do anything.
Like, fuck off.
You're not going to get jack shit. Like, I don't care. You're not going to get jack shit, Chivas. You're not a serious club. That's fact. I don't take these bums seriously. And no matter what happens next season, you're not winning the campeonato, even if you do qualify for the play-in. Look how many managers they have.
They have a lot.
How many? They had 4 managers in the last 2 years, Dax.
Yeah, 4 managers.
Or actually 5. 5 freaking coaches, and they all left. Not because one of them, I think, got sacked. Obviously, Espinoza was just here for an interim basis because they got rid of Oscar Garcia. What's the point of bringing him?
So there's no coaches now, right?
Yeah, and honestly, don't even go coach Chivas. I even think Chivas could be a worse position than Manchester United, even though Manchester United do scumbag results. But Chivas, I think percentage is just a bigger mess, in my opinion. So there's no point in getting stressed out of that. It's not fucking serious. And and but yeah, like I don't care if you're on university. Like May 8th, like no, like who wants to celebrate that? Like almost nobody. Like at this point, and if you see Vince, they're just trying to use interim. Even though they're only using that just
So,
for
in 2025, there's no coaches, right?
for now. But they'll be trying to look for one. They want Almada, not Almeida, since he's busy with Greece. Almada is from Pachuca. Of course, he's busy Pachuca. I thought he was gonna leave, but they changed their mind because of the Intercontinental Cup by almost beating Real Madrid 3-0, even though they lost 3-0. They want to get him, but but I mean, it's just. But we all know that that's not gonna happen anyways. But yeah, Chivas, they are absolute bunch of clowns. Like bringing back the old players, like Alan Pulido, Chicharito. Oh, by the way, Chicharito, Javier Hernandez, Valesen, or Javier Hernandez, also known as Chicharito, which is his nickname, who played for LA Galaxy, who played for lots of clubs. Obviously, he's a legend in Mexico, but sadly, he has ruined his legacy. Sadly, Chicharito. I
Yeah.
think at this point, Chicharito just retire. Honestly, like in my opinion, I think the last time you had a good moment was at the LA Galaxy when you scored a hat trick in one of those games. That was the last time you had a good moment. So he joined Chivas in 2006, but that was when they were good. Mexico national team. He joined Manchester United July 1st, 2010 until 2014. Went to Real Madrid on the last day of the transfer window. He went to Leverkusen for a bit. He went to West Ham, Sevilla, LA Galaxy. No, he
Mm-hmm.
lasted for a year at Madrid, which I thought he lasted a couple more years. But yeah, this was the last time Chicharito was good. And he's 36-year-old, so I do respect him. But the problem is, ever since he returned to Chivas, the start of 2024, the Apertura, which I doubt he leaves his boyhood club, even though this is his home. But honestly, I think you already did enough. Like, don't ruin your legacy for to come back to Chivas. Just don't. But unfortunately, he kind of did. Unfortunately, he has only scored 3 times, so basically, he's only getting 1 goal per season. He did score twice in the Champions Cup and the one against Sanwich, which absolute embarrassment, by the way, where you
Yeah.
shush the crowd when you're losing 3-1. Absolute embarrassing. It's just embarrassing for Chicharito, in my opinion. Like, what's your response on Chicharito?
Like, it's just stupid.
Like, you are a legend for what you did for both Mexico and at club level. Especially winning couple Gold Cups. You're a legend, but right now it feels like you're not the same. You used to be brilliant, especially the hair. But ever since you went, I wouldn't say bald, but ever since you joined back Chivas, that's where the legacy has ruined. They only did this to sell jerseys just to make up money. It's all about the money, proper. And at this point, Chivas, what's the point of What's the point? What's the point of these guys? What's the point? You can't even finish that. Like you're going on Puma very soon. Honestly, in my opinion, this is just ridiculous. And then they come to United States. Besides the Leagues Cup, if they come to US, they also do friendlies for money. Well, sure, every Liga MX side kind of does that, which is questionable. But especially Chivas, it's all about the money. Like it's over. It's over for you guys, in my opinion. Like the goats, it's over.
Oh,
And let's not forget, Atlas won back-to-back championships in 2021 and 2022. So you can hold that.
yep, they can hold that.
And even though Chivas doesn't have a big rival of Cruz Azul, I just or whatever. In my opinion, Cruz Azul should be a bigger club than Chivas. It's facts.
Yeah.
Like, shut the fuck up. Like, this is why Chivas, you used to be good, red and white stripes. Not anymore. It's over.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, get some idiots that will still support these. And then remember, don't blame the referees and all that. Even though the refs have been on your side, I'm not buying that crap. I just don't care about Chivas. Who cares, basically, at this point? Like I have no idea how you guys represent as the second biggest club. It's like saying Tottenham to be a top six club. You know they're not because they're not. Based on history, they're just trying to manipulate people. Because look at
Yeah.
history, you don't even have a bigger Champions Cup. You only have two Champions Cup. Honestly, then shouldn't Cruz Azul, Pachuca, Monterrey be bigger then? Because it doesn't look that you're that big, in my opinion. Dude, Chivas, don't even compare yourself to South America, to Copa Libertadores. Don't even do that. Oh, if you played in that, you're getting smashed, bro. You're absolutely going to get crapped up.
Mhm.
By if you played Flamengo, especially at the Maracanã, you're losing 5 or 6 nil. That's a fact.
Yeah.
They are losing to Flamengo. Yep, they are. These scumbags thought they could get away with it. Bunch of robbers. And then as for Alan Polito, I know he returned to Chivas from Kansas City after winning that championship in 2017. He is 34 years old, so he is getting old. But he's ruining his life. He's handsome, but he's kind of ruining his legacy. Like at this point, like what's the point coming back to Chivas if it's all a clown show? If it's somewhat similar to the bad ownership of Manchester United, Arsenal, and Chelsea, basically. And that's facts. It's facts. Luis Moromo, absolute overrated players. And I'm not trying to roast him, but it's just either overrated on experience or just whatever. That the squad, like, there's no point. At this point, if I was him, like, what are you doing? Just leave Chivas. Like, some of these should leave for Europe. And I heard that Chivas are trying to sign Richard Ledesma. And my response, what a bad signing, honestly. It does not make any sense. Oh, I know he may not get much minutes PSV all because Des is back. The original stars are coming back from injuries. Fair enough, but come on. Don't ruin your legacy by going to Chivas. I know he's American, Mexican
Ay.
American, so I don't know if he'll either play for Mexico or the USA. But come on, don't go to Chivas. Like you might get. I don't even know if you even get playing time. Or well, they are trying to look for well, I know Chivas, they do make some, sell players like, I don't know who they're trying to replace, but bringing Richard Ledesma, is that really worth it? No. In my opinion, if he wants to play for Mexico or the US or even Mexico, because the US didn't call him, which by the way, big up to him. He was born in Phoenix, Arizona, one of my favorite cities. I love Phoenix. Fair enough. If he wants because he does have a Mexican passport, but don't go Chivas. Don't even come to Liga MX just yet. I want like stay in the Dutch league. Go to like I don't know, like whatever you have to go on loan on a different club basis. I
No.
don't know if it's like or something like that. AZ Alkmaar or something. You could go there, but not Chivas. Don't ruin your legacy. Don't ruin your talent by going over there. Just don't.
Uh-huh.
Just don't do it. Just don't go there.
And then I guess and when it's 10 o'clock or something, I guess we can end it.
I guess. Even though I still have to talk about Telemundo, but I'm trying to speed up.
All right.
But Chivas, I'll make it as quick as 10. If we might go as far as 10 or 10, I guess, if I have to.
All right.
Just so you know, people have to wait. But Chivas, just what's the point? Even the women's team will be eliminated by Club America. Yeah, they should. Like at this point,
Yeah.
I don't honestly. There's no point. I know that Chivas are run by Almagri. At this point, if you don't do it the right way, what's the point? And plus, here's the thing: if it's true that he is to blame for Chivas' downfall, fair enough. But your fan base gotta get your act together. You gotta land the minerals, like Chelsea and United fans, like they do against their ownership. Against the Glazers and Clown Lake, as an example, because they're fighting bad ownership, and having bad ownership is bad. If Chivas was a proper club, if they were still in a proper club, even if they're not the best, but at least we're still competing in the right way, and they were actually trying to do it the right way and not blame their rivals, then yeah, I respect them. But now I don't.
Yep, we don't.
Let's not forget, Chivas, they are under contract here in the United. Okay, so in Mexico, they're under contract with Amazon Prime, right? All because they don't like Televisa. If you don't like Televisa, could have signed with somebody like, I don't know, Fox Sports or something like that, or ESPN, which ESPN controls the San Luis games in Mexico. Here in the U.S., guess what? They want to talk about how corrupt Televisa is, right? My
Uh-huh.
Hold on, let me try to see it. They want to talk about corruption, right? They want to talk about Televisa, right? Which is also owned by. They want to talk about Tudene, which is owned by Televisa, right? They accuse them of being Club America and all that, blah 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 blah. But yeah, you want to sign with Telemundo, absolute scrubs, aka Telemundo Deportes, who are obviously owned by Telemundo, also known as NBC Universal, which is connected to NBC and the corrupted Comcast system. And they agreed to that, even though I think Telemundo fucking sucks, and I hate them because I don't take them seriously, because they waste licenses. And yeah, you want to sign with them? Fuck off, honestly.
Yeah, fuck off.
And you want to make those deals with NBC, propagandize, making corruption, all that? Fuck off. Like Telemundo, we're gonna make another stream about you. And about the NBC quality, nobody cares.
Yeah.
And as for this, shut the fuck up, bro. Like the Rumbo Mundial thing, that was all the way back in 2022. Yeah, that was back 2022. Where they don't even have those rights right now. But yeah, fuck off, Telemundo. You don't deserve World Cup qualifier matches. And as for this, what's this? Oh yeah, the Beach Club World Cup, which no one takes seriously. Like Telemundo, especially you sign Chivas, I just have enough at this point. This is why Telemundo is not serious. Like in my opinion, I view them as just not a serious channel. They waste licenses trying to sign with their rivals. Chivas that signs with Mexicans, even though they sign with their biggest rivals, U.S. men's national team. What's the point? It does not make any sense. Try to have this collaborate against Club America, all because they knew they're better. This is why I don't rate Telemundo. And whether you like it or not, the Televisa deal, whether you like it or not, makes 100% sense. Fine, it's overrated. But you could have signed with somebody else then. Why couldn't you sign Hawk Deportes or something like that? Or BN Sports? Why couldn't you sign with them?
Uh-huh.
If you really never wanted to come back to Universidad Tudane for the home games, why not do that? But you can't do that.
Uh-huh.
Telemundo are fucking garbage. You waste licenses. They'll try to cover back you. Like, fuck Telemundo. They deserve these rights. Telemundo is not better than Tudane. Like, shut up, Telemundo. And as of now, it's 0-0 against Arsenal, right? 27 minutes. Haram ball, obviously. And they're broadcasting that. Who wants to watch that shit? Even though Arsenal do have a chance. And they can't even put their chances in the right way. Arsenal, but that's different. Telemundo, shut the fuck up, honestly. Like, there's no point. If we have to make another truth stream about them, we will.
Yeah.
We will. I don't know. I don't know this week, next week. But once the Premier League season ends, they got nothing to do. And guess what? Now, since Chivas are eliminated early in the season, they ended the season early in the regular season rather than the playoffs or the play-in. No more views for Telemundo. No more money on their YouTube channel. So yeah. You guys are not gonna get away with the bums, and we're gonna continue on for 5 minutes because I need to talk about how the fuck are they even that big?
Oh, 5 minutes.
5, 7 minutes, I guess. Yeah, but yeah, a few more minutes. But yeah, Telemundo, shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
Like you don't even deserve these. You're not serious. This is why I don't take Telemundo seriously.
Mm-hmm.
This is why Telemundo absolute clowns, and you know what? This is why you don't deserve anything. And that's
Yeah.
for fuck's sake, freak Telemundo, absolute overrated. I don't care. And you know what? What's the point? You know, at this point, let me know in the comments or let Dax know in the comments. What's the point of Chivas being a big club? Well, because you have the second most titles right now. Well, at this point, you could get. Here's the thing. I even consider Cruz Azul be bigger. And let me see. This is why, like I said, Sudan is bigger than Telemundo, and I will make a stream about it eventually, or we will eventually. But hold on. Let me see. Liga MX titles. Somebody's behind you. Hold on. Let me try find it. Club America's the biggest, 16th. They might win the 17th if they want to. Yeah, they could. And all right. Let me see. Toluca are right behind you. They're one of the favorites to win. If Toluca wins, they're one more behind you. By the way, bums. And I think Toluca, since the way that they're performing, they might win it. They could win it, in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
As for Cruz Azul, they have 9 titles, and if they want to, which I have a feeling they could try win both Liga MX and the Champions Cup. If they win both of them this season, I say that they are 100% a bigger club, even though they are kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And they're definitely having a better season than Chivas for sure this season. But yeah, all right, on my screen real quick. Oh wait, hold on. Hold on, let me find it real quick. Before we show up with the YouTube subscribers and Instagram followers. And then yes, I know they had some old trophies.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, shouldn't Toluca be bigger? Shouldn't Toluca and Club America? Shouldn't Toluca and Cruz Azul be America's true rivals?
Mm-hmm.
We all know you're not good enough. And I'm gonna find this big up to Liga MX. He's ready. I want to show this. And we still have to talk about Chivas' followers real quick. Like they claim to be a big club. Like it doesn't necessarily means that you're actually a big club. It just doesn't. Oh, come on. But yeah, the internet. Come on. Come on, Google. Hurry up. We gotta stream to us broadcast. You know what? Maybe we'll give it 4 minutes. There we go. There we go. Let me add my screen real quick. But yeah, Chivas. Fuck's sakes. Look at this. Oh wait, no, this was 8 years ago. Damn it. Damn it. This was 8 years ago. I thought this was from recently. Damn it. Hold on. Let me try to find another one real quick. I don't care. Like, listen, like. We got Nikes. Playoffs. Like. Come on, let me try to find this.
Yep, 2 minutes until the stream starts, or a minute now.
Or actually, we might have to go on for 4 more extra minutes because I'm trying to find the picture real quick. I need to show everyone, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I guess we'll have to move to 10:08 or 8 or 10:09.
Or maybe
10:07. Wait, what?
10:07.
I guess we might have to go 10:08. And Arsenal have scored. Who cares? Is it Declan Rice? Yeah, celebrate that goal. Oh, that was poor defending. That's poor defending.
It is.
Oh my goodness, but whatever. Let me try to find the title real quick of that, and then come on. If not, I might have to show it on fucking Wikipedia. Damn it. Come on. Come on, I want 2025 edition. Come on. Come on.
Or maybe
Oh.
if it doesn't work, I don't know. Maybe send it to me.
Alright. And then, I'll share the screen real quick, even though I still have to show something real quick. Alright, let me try to find. Hold on, let me try to send to you.
And I'll show it and then we'll end it.
Even though I still have to show something real quick about how Chivas, you know what, fuck it. You know what, I might have to say it out loud because I want to show something. So yeah, like I said, if Toluca catches up with you, in my opinion, they are bigger, even if they have one Champions Cup. In my opinion, I even think Toluca, the project, sounds like they should be as big, if not bigger, than Chivas at this point. And by the way, so let's fucking go on their stupid channels real quick. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, before we start.
Give me a second. Right on my screen.
All right.
Let's see. It's not enough. But yeah, look at this. Apparently, yeah, they have 717 subscribers. That's their main channel, and it's just really and you know, at this point, I even doubt some of them could be either sub bots or they just manipulate. Like honestly, I don't see you as big club. Like honestly, like you probably manipulate someone's support because there's that club manipulation, but it turns out they're not really that big. You're not Flamengo. You're not. Flamengo is an actual proper club. Corinthians, even Palmeiras, even though Palmeiras just don't have a Club World Cup. That's the difference. Intercontinental Cup. You bums don't have one. Yeah, Palmeiras don't have one, but neither so is you. Look at these bums.
Yeah.
717 subscribers. You're not even the biggest one. Members only. Nobody cares. Your videos barely crack a few thousand views, in my opinion.
It's just retarded.
The most popular video is 1.7 million. That's serious. I'm going to start embarrassments. That's why people come here at this point to see you. Is to come to see your embarrassment like this. And like at this point, Chivas absolute overrated, honestly. Like let's check Club Americas and let's check their Instagram page and then we'll end it there. Like at this point, in my opinion, Cruz Azul and Toluca deserves more subscribers than Chivas. You don't even deserve 700,000. Become
Yeah.
5 million, landing it. I like that. Club America deserves it. And then that. All right, let me try to share my Instagram real quick before we end it. All right, let me try to share Instagram real quick.
Just trying to like do something.
All right, let me try to share my Instagram real quick. For
All right.
fuck's sake. And the reason why I do keep follow them, but just deny. I never support these bums.
Yeah. Wait, because they have a private account.
No, it's not private then. What the fuck is that? Are they trying to manipulate pictures that the stuff Feliz did? Like that look like Messi, but that's not him. But they're just Mateo Chavez. Like stop with these photos. Like those days are over. Let me try add my Instagram. I mean not Instagram. I mean hold on my screen. Come on. Shut up. Like you landed 3.6 million. 3.6 million isn't bad, but you know what? You manipulated those followers. Like Chivas don't deserve that much. You're barely even the top 10 in the Americas, by the way. Do I view them as a big club? Not as much. Nah. I'm not taking that seriously. Look at these. Look at this.
Just
Look at
cringe.
this propaganda. It's cringe. Just for proper money, you're not a big club. I rate Cruz Azul more. Like Chivas is good. Look at this. Like, no offense, I'm not taking
you
care
are.
of this.
And that's what. And sorry, I gotta bring this up. And that's what MEL, the freaking idiot, supports.
Oh yeah, let's not forget that absolute fucking weirdo was trying to twist the words about it.
Uh huh.
Like, I don't care. All right, let's talk about Cruz Azul. They only have 1.2 million, and I think they've been robbed because this is a real club. This is a club.
It says something.
What happened? You might some. Yes. One more minute. I'm just trying to finish off real quick before we end the stream. Cruz Azul, in my opinion, are a bigger club. This is the real fan base. That's how it's run. That's how it's done. Right?
Uh-huh.
All right, one more. Let's check out Club America, the real big one. The real big dogs. At this point, if I'm a Club America fan, I don't want to waste time on Chivas. They're not my biggest rivals. Your biggest rivals are Cruz Azul. That's the facts. And even Toluca, you could say Monterrey. They're more serious. At this point, Chivas are like big up. Arriba la America, Chivas. Like, you're not a big club in my eyes. And you know what? Stop being delusional. Just stop being delusional.
Yeah,
Stop it.
stop it.
Like this, Arriba la America, Arriba Cruz Azul. Unless you guys hate each other. Yes, they have a rivalry, but they have standards. That's the fucking thing. You guys do not have standards. And my response: get in the bin.
Yeah, get in there.
Just get in the bin. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if you're that, you're this. Like this is Arriba la America, and you know what? We should have this profile picture along with Atlas. Let's check Atlas's followers, because Chivas, like, who made you this big? You're basically Manchester United and the North London combined. That's facts. And whether you like it or not, this is what they are. They're nothing but freaking rats. And you know, let's put a Chivar post. But yeah, this Atlas followers, they deserve more. Let me try to put something about Chivar. And you know what? Let's just leave a photo real quick before we end the stream. Just gonna call
Alright.
Chivar. Come on. What do you mean there's no fucking result? Of course there are fucking. Oh my fuck off, man. But yeah, they're cheaters, bro.
Yep, that's what
They're
they
gonna
are.
say that. But then these fucking clown. Let me try. You know what? At this point, I wish I had a photo, but you know what? Chivas, those are my final words before we start the normal stream, which I have a plan as well to tell you. Chivas are nothing but just a clown-like crybaby club. They are not. They are not a serious club. They are not supposed to be bigger than. They're not supposed to be bigger than Club America. They're not the biggest club. They're just being delusional. Their fan base cries. They fight a bunch of times. Like, fuck off, Chivas. Stop manipulating and, like, for fuck's sake. Honestly, Chivas, those glorious days were long over, by the way.
Yeah.
So just fucking deal with it. It's over. I don't care. Like, honestly, in my opinion, if you want to improve, I think you have a long way to go. You have to stop being whiners. What's your last message before we end the stream?
Give up. Give up.
And stop being a fucking
Just
dick.
give up.
Atlas. Yes. Just give up, and then we will have to deal with them in July, mid-July. For fuck's sake. But anyways, big up to everyone. Subscribe to my channel. You know all that. Make sure to share, like.
Yep.
I will share this on Twitter. And you know what? All right, you can start the stream.
Alright, I'll end it right now.
Fuck, Chivas, get in the bin.
Let me send a couple people the normal stream link and I'll end it. And I'll also send you the link on Instagram.
All right. Penalty for lost. Yeah, these delusional wrongins will never get away with it ever again.
Alright, I might end it because I'm going to send the link to you. So,
All right.
see ya.
All right, then. I got a plan.